Hi, this is Tracy Ventura, and I want to share this really exciting session with you. I hope you watched part one, which was the intake session for my client Ingrid. That tells all about her life, what she wants to know, the trauma and the incredible abuse. Incredible as in not a positive way, abuse she suffered at the hands of her father, and how that's really impacted her life to this day, and the hope and the healing that she's looking for from her higher self. This is part two, where we're going to look at a past life, and then we're going to call forth her higher self and ask the questions that we have. But let me warn you, it takes a very different twist and a very different turn than either of us could have anticipated. And it all starts with the past life, or the other life that she saw. So I forgot to record. I didn't hit the record button for her past life. So what I'm going to do right now briefly is I am going to read from the notes on my screen what was said by her about her past life, because this is really critical and important for the rest of her session. Her higher self goes back and refers to this other life many, many times. And without giving any spoiler alerts, you're not going to want to miss this session. That's why I was so happy when she said I could post it on YouTube, because all of my new sessions are posted on my Patreon channel. And you can find those new sessions, and there are some really awesome ones out there at patreon.com/woke lightworker. And that's patreon.com/woke lightworker. There's a lot of sessions out there, and you're definitely going to want to check them out. But back to this video. You are going to absolutely want to wait till the very end and see her reaction and how completely shocked and blown away she is by everything that is discovered in this session. And the surprise and the shock doesn't go away until the very, very end. So let me get right into reading the notes from her past life or other life portion. And then I did hit record for the higher self portion when the higher self comes through and starts talking, so you can see that. But this is what her higher self, or her, had to say about the other life. So I think I'm a tall silver color being that teaches things to other beings, but I don't talk. This being teaches by feeling and sending feelings. It's very old. It's older than all the other entities there. It looks like it's in a stone, not a room, but something made of square stones, maybe like a half a wall, but it doesn't look like a human wall. And the teacher is happy, this teacher, this silver being, is happy about what they have done. But it's not enough, because the emotions that they want to teach, most of these other beings can't understand them. I think it's like a school teacher for something, and the teacher's job is to teach this. But some are better students than others, but it's not upset about it. It's fine with it. It knows that it can't explain everything to everybody, so it feels okay about it. It's not worried about it, but it feels tired of it and ready to go. It's at the end of its life. The other beings don't have any form, not even light. This one is tall and silver and looks like silver paint with reflective kind of water, and sometimes it's bright, sometimes it's not. All I see is the stone. I don't see the other students. I just know they're there. I do not know if I'm teaching emotions, but the teaching is through emotions, not words, through feelings and pictures. It's not out loud. I'm teaching something to do with history, but not our history. I then asked her to go forward and take me to a memorable or significant event, or something that just kind of stands out in her mind from that lifetime. And this is what she then described. She said, "We teach conflict and how to not fall into conflict, and we teach overcoming conflict. We use maybe something like humans to tell stories about conflict, but we are not a society that has conflict. So we use the conflict to show our students what could happen if they were in that society and how they could hurt each other, but we don't have it anymore. I think they understand, and they have these lessons a lot. And this is an advanced class, and they know that we don't have it anymore. They're curious about it because it was so important. It was the only thing that was important about what was before, and the only thing that was consequential. Everything before was fine, but there was conflict, and that ruined everything." I taught about conflict and about why feelings were dangerous and small and how people were smaller. That was my job. I taught that one thing for a long time and I was okay when I was done with it, but it was never fixed. I told my students that it's never gone all the way from everywhere, that it's not just an idea, it's dangerous. And they think it's a story, an idea, or even a myth. But the silver being was there to say that it was not just a story, it could ruin everything. The silver being did that a long time. It was a male teacher, and it was, I'm coming in when they're done and they're looking back. They're still remembering the area where they taught, this stone area, and they're in a moment where they feel like they did a good job with this, even though it was not 100% understood by everybody, but they're very happy with their work. The silver being is still alive. It just stopped sending messages. It's just retired. It's not here. It's somewhere else. Retirement is a reflective time. There was no goal. It's just reflective. And that's what was said about the other life. So keep this in mind because, like I said, it's going to come up numerous times through her session, this idea of conflict and how it's small, but it has big consequences and emotions are small. That's going to be really important in this session. So I really hope you enjoy this and feel free to leave a comment and feedback. And don't forget to hit that click and subscribe button.
We felt like we were done with it and we felt like we didn't need it and we didn't expect it and it was a surprise.
Mm.
And we don't have a lot of help around us. Just don't know our team and we don't see them.
Oh. Is that by design? Or is it there's some kind of block?
It's sad. So I think it's a block.
Okay. Got it. Wait 1 second. Um,
She's very lonely.
okay. Well, we're going to start working on this piece by piece, just a little bit by a little bit. Okay, so would it benefit her? And even if you need to, go to creator and ask for any of these things, please do. Would it benefit her to have you go back in time, so to speak, to when her body was in the womb, in the utero, surround her with a protective bubble or shield that protects her from any toxins her mother may have ingested while pregnant, and also shields her from her mother's emotions and traumas and stress so that those things can't reach Ingrid. And then can you also fill the inside of that bubble with unconditional love and light that her body can saturate in, just soak in the womb, and that stays around her through the birthing process and during her childhood, so she can draw upon those energies of unconditional love and light at any time she may not be receiving them from her external environment. Can you first shield that baby and then surround it in that unconditional love and light and tell us what that looks like?
We have to ask creator.
Okay.
Creator's hand is out. And there is some protection, not all the protection.
Okay. And is it limited protection because it would shield her from being able to fulfill her blueprint here?
Yes.
Okay.
Creator said that that's not part of the deal.
Okay. So, would it benefit her to have you take her again before Creator and ask Creator to do a broken soul healing on her? And if yes, can you have that done now and describe for us what that looks like as it happens? And then once it's done, tell us how that will change her life and how that healing will impact her going forward.
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, I can hold her hand and take her with me.
Okay.
And Creator knows that she is broken.
Hmm.
And there is a blessing. There's an idea that it's going to get better from now on. But you can't change the past.
Right.
And Creator has a lot of pity for her. He didn't want this to happen, but it had to happen. And she feels like it was a betrayal.
By Creator?
Yes.
Was it? If you ask Creator, what does Creator say about that?
Creator asks for trust.
I'm sorry?
Creator just asks for trust.
Ah.
She didn't trust him. She didn't trust the Creator. And she argued and insisted that it was not any more work. But it was. So this was a push from Creator. But now she is in front of him and there's no reason why he can't help her. He will help her.
Will the help always look the way she thinks it should look?
He said that she is the child and the help is similar to the silver being, where there are pathways out of grief. And she already knows how to do that. And she needs to stop being one of the students that didn't get it. And to get it. To understand it.
Hmm. So is she holding a trapped emotion of betrayal in her body anywhere? And if yes, where is she holding it? What color is it?
It's yellow and it's in her chest, but lower than her heart. It's a triangle. And it feels like it's pushing her lungs up so they can't be full.
Mm. Is she ready to? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think she was so sure and she didn't listen and she wasn't open that she was done. She was so sure. And there was an agreement. But something changed.
Mm. Is this possibly also a lesson on trusting Creator?
Yes, there are times when she forgot a lot about Creator in this life, and she didn't trust anyone. And trust is still really hard for her. But right now is the point of her emptiness. It's the point of physical and emotional emptiness. And the mistrust is cleansed away.
Mm.
And she can come back and be with Creator again.
So, I guess taking it a little bit, taking it a little deeper, was Creator pushing her into this life from that higher perspective, looking at it that way? Was that Creator teaching her to trust Creator? Not just in this life, but on an overall higher level.
Yeah, there is a sense of someone who is a really strong athlete, and they are winning every race, and then they win the race and they have to lay down at the end because they have nothing left. And that moment of vulnerability is what Creator wanted to teach her. She was running so fast and winning. And this life is supposed to be that moment of crumbling when you know that you're not a superpower and you're not without need. And that was from Creator.
Mm.
But she didn't know her mom before this.
Okay. Well, is she ready? You said there was that yellow, um, you said there was some yellow betrayal in her chest, lower than her heart. It's a triangle pushing up her, lungs so they can't be full. Is she ready to release that and let you take that and carry that and send that to Creator's light and replace it with unconditional love and light? And if so, can you do that and tell us what that looks like?
Yes, Creator's already agreed to take it because this is the first time that she's in front of him and admitting that she needed it.
Mm-hmm.
She needed this.
So what does it look like to see it leave and then be replaced with unconditional love and light?
It was gone when we first got here.
Oh,
And
okay.
we first put ourselves at the mercy of the Creator.
Oh, okay.
And it's her aura is no more purple now. It's her color of peace.
Ah.
But she's been really stubborn. She's been doing everything alone. And it's stupid. And she knows it's stupid to try to do all this alone. But she's very proud. So even coming before Creator was the most help she's asked for.
Oh. So, what does it look like from her human self, her human perspective, to not do this life alone? Like, how does she accept help and give, well, let me just use a scripture verse, cast her cares upon Creator, so she doesn't have to carry them?
She had to get over the anger and stubbornness of being here because it's isolating to be so angry and to be trying to prove that nothing could ruin her spirit and nothing could change her. And it was hard for everybody to watch her get to this point. But everybody is happy that she did. She had to come home and ask for help.
So is it a continuing of her going before Creator and asking for help?
It's done.
Okay.
We did it. We just did it. We went. I took her and I was holding her hand and we went. And she said that she wasn't able to do this alone.
But what about future challenges in this lifetime?
Creator's given her peace.
Okay.
The future challenges are not going to be lonely because she's not as stubborn as she was before. And she just had to ask for help the whole time. That was all it would have taken. But she wouldn't do it. It's taken her a long time to ask for help. But there's help. There's lots of help when you ask for it.
Is it difficult for humans to believe that or accept that because they can't see it with their physical eyes?
This soul's never been 100% human.
Okay.
There's a resentment about being human. There is a demotion about being human and a humbling. So I don't know about other humans.
Right. Okay. So is this also from Creator's perspective, a lesson in humility, maybe?
All of it is. Yes. It was the fact that she knew she was the best, the hardest worker. And she knew she did all the things that she was asked to do. And she did it the best of anybody else. And she knew it. And there was supposed to be a reward. And there was not. There was a pause. which is this life. There was a slowing down of this speed. This soul has been in such a hurry. And Creator says it's not a contest.
So Creator put a speed bump in the road?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so is she holding a trapped emotion of anger in her body anywhere? And if yes, where is she holding that? What color is it? And is she ready to let it go, or does she want to hold on to that a bit longer?
She has a lot of rage.
Oh.
It scares her, so it's not there all the time. It's not allowed there all the time. It's above her. It looks like a brain.
It looks like a brain.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's above her head.
Okay.
And there are very few moments that she lets it in. But usually it's all about unfairness and not having, not even for herself, but for other people, because she wants everybody to stop creating conflict. And she had to come back so far for this life that she hates it. She's resentful of it. And she feels like it's such a waste of everything to be angry. So the problem is that makes her angry. So she's trapped because she hates anger. And she's angry because she has anger. It was not very nice of the Creator to do that.
Who thinks it wasn't nice? The higher self thinks it wasn't nice?
Yes. But it was not. No one can be free of anger. It's delusional, is what Creator is saying. Even Creator is disappointed and not always happy about everything. So there's no one that gets to be free of anger.
And that was her thing, right? Teaching that you can be free of it, of conflict.
Yeah, she thought that she was done with it. And that it was in the past. That it was just an idea. But it's not just an idea. And her dad is so angry because she had to see what she was explaining to her students. And she had to be there and feel it. And then also how to watch fear eventually turn into anger in herself because of unfairness. And they're all the same feeling.
Can you you ask Creator, is there such a thing as fairness? And what does Creator say?
Creator loves her, and they laugh together all the time, and they have a trusting relationship. But Creator says that no life is fair because no one would learn anything if everything was fair. And even teaching people that we're all fair now is not doing them any favors because there's suffering and it's not fair.
So is Ingrid having a difficult time accepting what is as it is?
Less now, more before, because she tried to be the example for everyone, and it didn't work because it doesn't matter if you are self-sacrificing and if you are reducing conflict. People don't react in a way that is equitable. They react by taking advantage of you. And that was really hard. The high-mindedness was gone, and it was very animalistic. And she was eaten up a lot because of that stubbornness of hope that acting perfectly would result in getting that back.
I'm sorry, you said and she was eaten up a lot because of that stubbornness of hope that acting perfectly would what?
Would give her the same treatment from others, that they would see that and reciprocate it.
Okay.
That was not going to happen. And that is the main reason why she's here.
Mm. Does she have a problem with control, trying to control others?
No. She wants to be the example. And she hopes that people will look at her as the example and learn from her, just like when she was Silver. But here on Earth, no one looks that hard at all.
Mm. And that frustrated or angered her?
I don't see frustration and anger for a long time. I think that when she was a child, it confused her more than anything else.
Ah, okay.
It was a nature, second nature. And it was the only way to be. But she was hurt over and over and over again, and it broke her.
Mm.
And she's still broken. This is why she's asking for help.
Right. So we started out this whole thing about talking about a trapped emotion of anger in her body. Is she ready to release any anger that she may be holding?
Yeah, she already did.
Okay.
She met with Creator and they have not seen each other since she came here. She didn't go, but she thought she wasn't invited. She was always invited. She was just stubborn.
Hmm. So the anger's gone?
The anger is gone.
Okay. Is she holding a trapped emotion of resentment anywhere in her body? And if yes, where is it and what color is that?
She doesn't feel resentment, but she feels sadness.
Okay.
A lot of sadness that she doesn't like to allow herself to feel. And the sadness is in the back of her neck. And it's in her hips because she wants to put it somewhere that's not important. She doesn't feel like she has the right to be sad.
Mm. Why? Why didn't she feel like she had a right to be sad?
Because when you look at everyone, the life that she lives, she understands that she is privileged and wealthy and American and rich and has everything. And there are people here with nothing. And she's disgusted with her own self-pity.
Mm. So she's comparing?
She's very harsh to herself when she's sad.
Mm.
She says that you don't deserve to be sad.
Mm.
You're lucky. And you should shut up.
What would be a better way for her to handle her sadness? A healthier way?
She has a gift of helping a lot of people with her vulnerability. And when she's vulnerable, it helps a lot of people. But she doesn't want it to be about sadness. And she's going to have to practice it. She's going to have to practice allowing sadness to spread when it happens because it's stuck and it has to come out. But when it tries to spread, she stops it and doesn't let it come out.
Mm. So what does that look like for her to allow the sadness to spread when it happens?
She has to cry and she has to ask for help and she has to admit that she can't fix it with high-minded ideas, that those solutions don't work here in this life. You can't tell a human being that no one should create conflict and no one should be sad because everyone is and everyone does.
So crying, asking for help, and admitting she cannot fix it with head knowledge.
Yes,
Okay.
that's it. That's the only way. There is no other way.
Is she ready to release the sadness?
Yes.
Are you able to pull it from her now, send it to Creator's Light, and replace it with unconditional love and light, and tell us what that looks like as you do it?
I'm able to release some parts of the sadness from when she was a little girl. And I could see them going. But there are other parts that she needs to keep working with and keep working on, because she needs to stop that the hurry of getting everything done and being the best. And she just needs to stop it. And she needs to be here and be a human and be a person who has normal relationships that are not one-sided. And right now, she's taking care of everyone else emotionally, and they don't know that they're not taking care of her. She has to do that work.
So is she, in a sense, sacrificing herself for others?
She still wants to be the teacher,
Mm.
and she still wants to be above those feelings. So she's a good teacher and she helps a lot of people with those feelings. But what happens is that instead of having a friendship, she has a teacher student relationship with everyone, including your mom, everybody. And it's lonely. She's not in charge of teaching everyone here.
How can she... Well, hold on. Let me reword it. What does it look like, and how does she release the mentality of being everyone's teacher here?
I think it was a good step today to go to Creator and ask for help. That was the first step. And then she needs to be present here. She thinks of lots of things, and her mind is thinking about big things and big ideas and big morals, and putting them into that philosophy, that teaching, instead of honoring the small things. And her job here is to honor the small things about human existence within herself. And she spent almost 40 years telling those parts of her to shut up
Mm.
and that they're not important. And she needs to be the teacher.
So, You said that she needs to be present here. What are some things she can do to practice being present here?
She needs to create better friendships with people who are not using her for listening to their problems only. And she doesn't want to, but she has to. She has to be vulnerable and learn how to be in a reciprocal relationship in every way, not in love, not in friendship, not in family, but in all of those areas, because she's now hiding things that are hard for her even more from everybody.
So, what does she need to learn or do or change in order to create better friendships?
She needs to practice being human. She needs to practice honoring her feelings that she doesn't think are perfect and she doesn't think are worthy. But that's why she's here. She should just go to therapy and get it all out and be sad. She wants to go to therapy, but she always entertains and teaches her therapist, and that's not the point of it. She doesn't like to take, and she doesn't like therapy because she's supposed to go and take healing, and she doesn't want to. She doesn't feel like she should have to. She wants to be the healer, but she has to.
So, she needs practice being the student?
She has to be the student, and she has to do the things that she doesn't like about people, being frustrated and sad and angry. She has to be those things. That's what's left here.
Hmm. She said she needs to practice being human, practice honoring her feelings that she does not think are perfect or worthy in order to create better friendships. So, I'm going to keep digging a little bit here. What does it look like for her to practice honoring her feelings?
She has to not shut down, and she has to make a choice to share the things that she's going through and to ask for help, just like she did with Creator. She has to trust other people that they're good too. And that's really hard for her.
Because she doesn't trust others? I'm sorry, go ahead.
She just hates humans. She hates humanity. She's
Why does she hate? I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
she's disgusted by humans
Ah. Why does she hate humans?
because they're so petty and small and angry and cruel, violent, and unevolved. But now she's here.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So what would it take for her to soften her heart toward humans?
She has to understand that she is one first.
Mm.
And that is hard because she doesn't like that part of herself. And she doesn't want to talk about it. And she doesn't want to honor it. And she doesn't want to give it oxygen. She hates it. But she can't escape it. So she needs to be able to admit anger and pettiness and jealousy and revenge and sadness and not pretend like she's above that. That's why she's here.
Mm. So, does she need compassion for humanity and
She
the plight of humanity?
she needs compassion for herself. She needs to stop pushing those things down because it's not working and her body is sick because she's not kind to her own feelings. She wants to tell herself that she doesn't get to have them because
Mm.
they're illogical. And she's really mean to herself. Nobody else is mean to her as much as she is to herself.
Not kind to her own feelings. So, hold on, I'm developing a question in my mind. Is there something else you wanted to say?
No.
Okay. Oh, here's my question. You said her body is sick because she's not kind to her own feelings. Asking her body what it wants most, what are the top 3 things her body would say that it wants from her?
Her body needs acknowledgement um that she's in it and she's here. She has a really hard time being present in this body. And the body knows it. And the body knows that it's being rejected.
Mm.
And that is compounding the fear response and the trust response because she doesn't trust her own body. She doesn't like it. And if your body knows you don't like it, it fears other human bodies too. It learns how to fear all humans. Because if you don't like your own body, then bodies must be bad.
Mm. Okay, what's another thing? That was one. What are two more things her body would want from her?
Her body's asking her to do more new things and to feel more joy within herself physically. Her body wants her to do fun things in her body so that when she's happy, it's with her body attached to the happiness. And her body wants her to loosen the storage of sadness and anger and start working on it, because the body can't do it by itself. It gets all screwed up. It can't.
Okay, so what can she do to be more present in her body?
She needs to start doing things with her son, not just watching him do things. And she needs to change her medication for her PTSD, because her medication makes her body feel very tired. And her body feels tired all the time, and it has a hard time being its best version for her to enjoy because of the medication.
Is there a different medication or a lower dose, or what do you mean?
I don't want her to have to take any more medication, but that's up to her because it's for her PTSD. And if she can overcome some of the fear, she won't have to take the medication. But she's given up. So she's been taking it for 20 years. She doesn't know how to stop. But she asked for help today. So we hope that we can have a bigger team help us.
What kind of team and support would you like to see gather around her, and that we can ask Creator to provide for her now?
I want her to have her friends from Creator, from her friends from before, her spirit friends.
Okay.
And it's been taken away because she was not doing well at having human friends. So they were taken away because there was a worry about over dependence on spirit friends. But now she needs them. She needs them because she's hit the rock bottom spiritually here. And she admitted it. So she needs more of her spirit team to help lift her back up.
So can we call them in and ask Creator to bring that team back in to support her? And what does it look like for her to work with them? Like, does she need to do anything?
The team is there. They are standing on the left side of Creator, and they're all orange, and they're angels. And they've been watching her. And it's hard for them to watch. But they have agreed with Creator. And they will come. But they're saying they will come one at a time.
Okay. Does she need to do anything to work with them?
She already knows how to work with them.
Okay. Who's the first one that's going to come?
Michael.
Okay. Archangel Michael? Or a different Michael?
He's an angel, but he's not an Archangel Michael.
Okay.
He's laughing.
Okay.
He's saying it took you long enough.
Ah.
He's very funny. They've been waiting.
So can she call on him when she wants to?
Yes.
Okay.
He's still laughing.
Is there such a thing as her calling on him too much?
No.
Okay.
He has not been here at all. They've been waiting on her.
Nice. Okay. So, and then that, doing things with her son and not just watching him, that's pretty clear. But you want her to have her friends from Creator, which are the ones we were talking about. Okay.
These
I'm
friends
sorry.
the friends of her spirit team are going to make her life better every day. Just put her in a better mood and talk to her and support her. And they're making fun of her a lot, which is their relationship. And they will fill some of that loneliness. But she won't have to, in a human form, she won't have to do anything for them to do that.
Okay. Can we ask Creator to also give her some joy guides?
Yes. He was making a joke about her being on probation.
That's almost like what I was feeling.
It's been weird. She's been in the naughty corner. It's really funny.
It kind of felt like.
They were so mad. Wow.
But she can have their joy guides back?
Yes. And she already has joy. She has a sense of humor that is surprising to Creator because of all the pain. And they've been really proud of her. And they've been really proud of how she brings her son so much joy. And she makes his life surprising and fun and special. And they want her to make her own life that way too.
So, is she holding a trapped emotion of, I know we did sadness, but is there a trapped emotion of grief that she's holding on to?
Yes, but we had a reunion today. So we are back together. The grief was the loneliness
Mm.
and the rejection. But it was her own stubbornness that made that last so long. She's a pain in the ass. That's what they're saying. Nobody
So,
thought it would last this long. They
oh
kept
wow.
using her more and more and more and more and more and more. And she just kept going. And now they're laughing at her,
Ah.
but with her.
So, okay, then let's lump those three together. Is she holding now any grief, loneliness? Um, well, let's say, is she holding now any grief or loneliness or rejection in her body anywhere?
No, she's in on the joke.
Okay. Okay.
What the hell? Oh my God. This is funny.
Does she take life too
To know
seriously?
what she's going to be doing next. And
She
no one,
what?
like, she really wants to know what she's going to be doing next. And everyone is saying, calm down. You're still going to do this until you die. And she's annoyed, but they're joking about it.
Ah.
She's type A. Oh my God.
So, does she take life too seriously?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. But she's really good at making other people love themselves. And they're proud of her for that because she didn't love humanity before she came back. And she had to learn about pain and anger and fear and had to remember what it felt like to be the victim of those things and not just to judge them. And she did a really good job teaching again, but here in the human world, she taught a lot of people to forgive themselves and to be happy. Just not herself.
Ah. We're going to talk about self-love in a little bit, but um, she said she does take life too seriously. Oh, is this kind of also from the creator's perspective? Um, looking at bigger lessons. We've seen several so far. From a higher standpoint, is this maybe also a lesson in be careful what you judge or be careful what you hate?
Creator wants everybody to slow down, and she's been in a hurry to finish, and he doesn't understand why. She doesn't understand that there's no end.
Uh,
So it's kind of a party right now that everybody's laughing about it and talking about. They all know she's like this, and she knows she's like this too. And the lesson is that it everything is the lesson.
mm-hmm.
You can't rush through anything, and you can be impatient. And this spirit is very impatient, where she's really impatient in this life, and it's been like that for all of the lives. But the the creator is saying that she knows that there's joy here and she has the joy. And he's basically telling her to calm down and just take things as they come.
Mm.
I don't think that she hates humanity. I think that she has hope for humanity because she wants people to stop fighting with each other and being cruel to each other. But she has a megalomania that she can't do that by herself. And it's funny for everybody that she takes that on.
Mm. Again, coming down, trying to be the teacher.
All of it. She thinks that she can help people stop doing bad things to each other. And she thinks she can affect change. She doesn't think she can affect change. She takes responsibility for affecting change. And that's a little bit silly for one soul to take on.
Mm. So, all right. Let me ask this. Does she have a trapped emotion? Because I could keep going on and on in that line. But does she have a trapped emotion of fear in her body? And if yes, where is it and what does that look like?
She's not afraid anymore. The fear was the isolation from creator and her
Mm.
friends,
Her spirit friends, right?
spirit friends. And that's what I'm getting, is that that's should have been obvious to her,
Mm.
but it wasn't, because she was just a human. They're all saying that this should have happened 25 years ago.
Mm. So if I kind of sum things up, um, would you say that she needs to embrace her humanity, and because that's what she is in this lifetime?
Yes, she needs to embrace the minutia of humanity.
Mm.
She needs to be outside in the dirt and have let herself cry and learn her neighbors' names and be here. She needs to be here.
Mm. I want to talk about her father now. Are there any energetic cords connecting her to her father? And if yes, is she ready to allow you to unattach those cords connecting her to her father?
She has no cords to her father, but there's a cord between her son and her father.
Ah. Can you cut that cord between her son and her father, or is that not allowed?
I can cut it.
Okay. What does that look like?
Um, it just looks like a big pair of gardening shears, and it's like a little blue. It's a cord that's on my son's shoe, but on my dad's head.
Ah,
Cutting it, and it's gone.
okay. How did that get there?
Um, It was just DNA.
Uh,
Just family. Dad has not been able to hurt her son.
but there's no cords between her and her dad, you said.
None.
Okay. Are there any soul fragments of hers that her father is holding on to?
Her father keeps pieces of fear from her. He keeps pieces of fear that he's created and watched. And he likes it.
Mm. Does it give him energy? Or why does he like it?
He thinks that that's all he has left to get her back. Is to scare her. He's not very smart.
He's not very what?
He's not very smart.
Mm.
He's not smart spiritually. He's a smart human.
So can we ask Creator to gather up all those pieces of her fear, take them from her father, and have Creator hold them in its love and light, and then replace it if he's willing to accept it. Where the fear was, where he was holding on to, replace it with love and light for him if he's willing to receive it. Can you do that?
Creator can take that, but he can't replace anything.
Okay.
Because Creator is showing me that his hand is in front of the dad, and his Creator's hand is as big and tall as a dad, and it's a shield away. Like,
What do you mean by that?
Like, Creator is pushing him away from her.
Oh, okay. But all those pieces of fear have been removed from her dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Creator saying that her father tried to keep more, but he's forgotten who she is. He thinks that she's still a child. He doesn't know how powerful she is. And he's scared of her.
Is she holding any soul fragments of her father or no?
She has, yes, she has shattered glass, tiny pieces of shattered glass. In the back of her lungs, there are some small pieces in there, wedged in from her father. And that's why she feels like she can't breathe when she gets scared. Because they're there and they're embedded. And that's hard to get rid of.
Is she ready to release them? Or does she want to hold on to them?
I don't think she wants them anymore. I just think she didn't know they were there. They're really deep. And
Okay.
there's a process of composting them. But she has to start with that admitting the sadness and starting the work of the childhood pain. They will compost away on their own.
Okay. And you want her to do the work, or could you remove them for her?
She's got to do the work.
Okay.
She knows that she has to do the work of the yucky human emotions that she doesn't like.
Okay. Okay. So did she choose to incarnate? Well, I guess that's kind of a silly question because she didn't choose any of this, right? So did Creator choose her father?
Yes.
Why?
Creator decided that she needed to feel what it was like to be vulnerable and to be human, that she had forgotten. And she thought she was so far better than that. And this is from him.
So hold on. When we are, let's say, examining our soul journey scroll, if I can call it that, the scroll that has our soul journey on it, are there no warning signs on it that, hey, you're getting a little too big for your britches, you're going too fast, you think that you've got this when you really don't, how about if you turn around and back up? Like, did she not get anything, any warnings like that before she just got slapped into this life?
No, she knew every time. It was always, she's always been like this. And from the beginning, but not anger about humans or feelings. She's just always been very impatient. And this wasn't a punishment. It wasn't a retribution, and it went on a lot longer than anybody thought it was going to. It was a slow down. You need to review this. You haven't fully understood this, or you understood it once, but you've forgotten it. Because this life has had a lot of joy and success and good things too. But the point of this life was to feel vulnerable and weak and to feel fear and remember that nobody can judge that. Nobody can judge what people or other entities do with those feelings, because when you have them yourself, you don't know what to do with them either.
Mm.
This was definitely a bummer though for her. She's not angry at Creator though.
But, okay, so she knew she was impatient, and yet she didn't, on a soul level, she didn't self-correct. So this was Creator kind of getting kind of almost like a peg's out of place and you got to kind of knock it sideways a little bit. It was Creator giving her the nudge to correct, and she didn't self-correct.
The image that I'm getting is that she was in front of him before this life. And then, like, this is going to sound really weird, but you know how, like, if someone dies, people roll them up in a rug?
Uh-huh.
Like, she was ready to start reviewing it or something, and he just kind of rolled her up in a rug and pushed her into this experience. And the team was there. Her team was there, but they didn't tell her either. They didn't tell her.
She was like ambushed.
She got rolled up in a rug. So weird.
Okay. But is that again because she knew, but yet she didn't correct herself?
Yeah.
She didn't straighten her course?
Yeah. And she got bored with the suggestions. She got bored with slow down. She's been bored. She's just been bored. And that's not okay.
Mm,
There's no way to hide in the spirit world. There's no way to deceive. There's no way to say the right thing and feel something else. Everyone knows.
mhm.
So they do this to each other. They definitely do this to each other. But it's more good natured than it sounds.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. They got a dog named Poppy, and her dad never liked dogs. And we know this whole story because I'm assuming you were there hearing, and you were there seeing what her dad did to her dog Poppy. Can you go back to that incident and pull the shock and pain from her dog Poppy? Send that shock and pain to Creator's light and replace it with the energy of calmness and peace, and also with unconditional love and light, and tell us what that looks like as you do it.
Yes, this creature is not deserve that. And she's elevated away from that. It um Ingrid did not think about that until today. It's been a long time.
I'm sorry, what? It angered Ingrid?
No, Ingrid did not even think about that until today. She did not remember that.
Ah,
And Poppy is okay.
okay. Is there any trauma that can be pulled from Poppy? I mean, it just broke my heart to hear that story. And we're just wanting to know, is there any healing that Poppy would need that could be given to Poppy from this side of things and going through, Creator or Poppy's higher self or anything? Or is Poppy like way, way okay and absolutely doesn't need any help from us?
It's been a long time, but when that happened, Poppy would need a download of forgiveness toward humans because dogs love humans unconditionally, and that was a betrayal of that agreement. And so Poppy would need to be given that spiritual download of forgiveness to humans. She would not know how to do that as a dog to
Mm,
deal with that betrayal. But she's had that. She's had that.
okay. The weekend, I'm going to go through a few instances that were particularly traumatic for her. The first one, the weekend after her dad left, her mom put all of her dad's clothes in boxes so he could come and pick them up in the garage. And while they were at a restaurant, he broke the door down, stole all of her mom's belongings. And that just terrified and shocked Ingrid. Can you go back to that incident, so to speak, and pull the shock from Ingrid from that incident? Send that shock to Creator's light and replace it with the energy of calmness and with unconditional love and light, and tell us what that looks like as you do it.
That was demonic energy. That was very dark energy. And Ingrid felt that. She felt demonic energy when that happened. And her father is very religious, and he often was with Satan or with demonic energy. And so that was just one of the worst episodes. And the house was full of demonic energy. And the house had to be slowly cleansed. And it took a long time. It took months, even after everything was fixed. I can pull the shock, but I can't pull the demonic energy meeting. I can pull the human part,
Okay.
but she does now recognize that dark energy.
Okay. So that's gone and been sent to Creator's light and replaced with unconditional love and light.
Yes.
So, you pulled the shock from that instance. Now, are you able to pull the trauma from her that she may be holding on any level in her body or in her soul, in her spirit, in her heart, in her mind? Can you pull the trauma from that instance?
I can pull most of the physical trauma. There are still pieces of that, like her dad, like the embedded pieces. But that has to be uncovered with the work.
Okay. But you're going to pull a large chunk of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything that's not embedded is coming out.
Okay.
She doesn't have to worry about that anymore. There isn't any demonic energy in the future for her.
Okay. Another incident was at his house. She was there on visitation, and he was drunk in the garage and had been in a fight with his wife or soon to be wife. And the wife grabbed Ingrid as a human shield and brought her out to the garage, and he threw a glass bottle at them and it just missed them. And she just held Ingrid there while the bottle flew past them. And that shocked and terrorized Ingrid. Can you go back to that incident and pull the shock from that incident? Send that shock to Creator's light and replace it with the energy of calmness and unconditional love and light. Tell us what that looks like as you do it.
Yeah, it's important that Ingrid understands that that was when her PTSD started, because it wasn't that her father was being violent because he was always being violent. It was that she was being physically trapped at the scene of violence by someone that she trusted.
Mm.
And that's why she developed PTSD, because her brain couldn't fight or flight. She was too afraid of her dad to fight, and she was being held so hard she couldn't run away.
Mm.
That turned it on. And This is hard. There's a lot on top of that. There's so much on top of that because it's like the beginning of a spool of yarn that's been knitted into a blanket. It's hard to pull that one thread out since that was the beginning of the PTSD. She's going to have to work on that. But she can know that that's where it started, and that will help. Nobody is holding her anymore. She's not trapped.
But can you pull the shock from that incident or no?
Yes. Yes, and she wasn't. It's hard because her dad was very violent, so it wasn't like that big of a surprise, the shock. It was a fear in a trauma, but yeah, I could take the shock from that.
Okay. Can you pull the fear and the trauma from that?
No,
Mm.
it's her brain is not the same as other adults' brains because of the developmental PTSD stemming from that incident and other childhood incidents. She has a different brain than other people, but her work here is to acknowledge fear and conflict, but not to be sucked down into it. And she's doing really good work on those things.
Her work here is to acknowledge fear and conflict, but not to be sucked down into it.
Yes. She was so judgmental of human imperfection and of pettiness and of the fact that humans hurt each other over the things that were so stupid. And she needed to be reminded of what the power of fear and the power of the threat of violence to stop being such a snob, honestly.
Mm. Mhm. Again, be careful what you judge, right?
Yeah, I just got too far away from it. She got too far away, and she spent so much time teaching about it. It became a story, and she oversimplified it and judged it. She's laughing now because she's like, thanks. It's not, I get it now, but thanks very much.
And again, she judged instead of having compassion, right?
She judged and she forgot her compassion. She
Mm.
forgot. She used it as a condemnation of an unevolved soul, unevolved species. So she needed
Mm.
to come back and be one of those people who was vulnerable to fear and pain alone. And now she doesn't judge it anymore.
Mm. Another memory of her dad's erratic behavior was at the piano recital when he stormed up the row, grabbed the sister in front of everyone, took her outside and spanked her, and then brought her back in, and she was crying and fearful. And then Ingrid had to go up and play the piano at the recital after that happened. So, are you able to pull the shock from her for that instance, send that to Creator's Light, and replace it with unconditional love and light, and tell us what that looks like?
Yes, that type of thing happened a lot. She doesn't remember much of that, but that was not her fault. And that was not part of her journey of self-discovery. She was just a bystander. So she does not have to feel that pain. That can be removed.
Mhm. So you pulled shock from that. Can you also pull the trauma from that incident?
Yes,
Is that done, or do you need us to wait?
it's done.
Okay.
She'll never see that again.
Okay. Has she completely forgiven her father on all levels, the soul level, core level, history level, whatever level she might be holding unforgiveness towards her father from the abuse she suffered at his hands?
She forgave her father a long time ago because it was hurting her so much to care until she had a child. And now she can't forgive him because he's doing the same thing to her child.
Mm.
And she doesn't want to slip up and allow any of his influence to hurt her child.
Does she have too much fear around the relationship between her father and her son, or is her fear healthy?
It's healthy. He will not stop. He will die first. He will
Mm.
die soon.
He will die soon?
He will die soon. It's his heart. He will die soon.
Okay.
That will be a miracle for Ingrid and the family.
Okay. So, what can she do to keep her and her son protected from her father? What steps can she take physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
She's already done that. She's done an extraordinary amount of work to protect her son. She has spent so much time focusing on his vulnerability and protecting him, even when other people thought it was crazy. It wasn't crazy because she knows how dangerous her father can be. And sometimes she had to be secretive about it because people thought she was being paranoid. And so she just didn't talk about it. And she's not being paranoid at all.
Mhm. Is there any unforgiveness she's holding on to in her body on any level towards herself or anyone else? And if yes, where is she holding it and who is she holding it towards?
She has a lot of forgiving to do. She has to forgive herself for ending up here. And she has to forgive Creator, and she has to forgive her team, and she has to forgive her ex-husband. She needs to start doing that work because there is a long list of people that she could begrudge, but she's getting the message that she's here to experience joy, and that has to stop. So she's going to be doing that, and it's really important, and it's not going to be overnight.
What are the steps that she can take to start all of this forgiveness work?
It's coming down to trust, and she has to find a person that she trusts that she can start talking to. She doesn't trust anyone, and the people that she does trust, she has taken upon herself to be their caretaker. And she mothers her own mother and her sister, and they don't understand how deep her pain is if she hasn't told them. And she should be in therapy with a very ascended human that she can trust. She has to just cry. There's a lot of crying that she has to do.
Mm. Can you lead her and guide her to the correct therapist?
Yeah, she's almost there. She was already doing that, trying to start that work. So she already started the work, and she's been taking steps toward that, but she will need help finding someone, and I will help her.
Okay.
I think
So you said-
Michael will help her too.
I'm sorry, what?
I think Michael will help her too.
Oh, okay. So, you said find a person she can trust to talk to. You meant a therapist.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay. Is there any of the unforgiveness that you can pull from her, or is this work she needs to do?
This is her work.
Okay.
She had a revelation today. And it's funny, and it's a reunion and a party, and also she has to unpack that about why she ended up here.
Right.
I don't think Creator would let her be done right now.
Right. Okay. So going back to her dad, is there any light in her father at all, or is he all darkness? Is he what we might call a dark entity, or is he a soul on a human journey that wanted to have a dark experience in this lifetime? What can you tell us about him?
He's a ghost. He is, there's nothing inside of him that's alive. It's not purely evil. It's amoral, and it's not human.
Can you elaborate? Inquiring minds want to know.
It is like there's a heartbeat, but no heat signature. It's not a soul that is cast out. It's just a kind of drone or an empty vessel. And because he doesn't have his own journey, it's parasitic. It's very parasitic. It needs attachment, strong attachment. So it needs his wife, even though he doesn't like her. And it needs to keep finding new attachments. That's why it's so dangerous to Rex, because it takes. It's not a demon, it's just not a human.
Who created it? Isn't everything created by humor? Isn't everything created by creator?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Ask the creator that
wants to
question.
take, it doesn't look like he wants to take credit for this, but he's not. He's saying it's a mystery. There's lots of mysteries, and this is a mystery. Not very helpful. He's
So
saying it's a lesson.
I'm
That's
sorry.
He's saying it's a lesson, and that's also not very helpful. But that's it. Thanks a lot. Happy to be. Okay, I get okay. Wait. Okay. Okay, this makes sense. So I had to come back here as Ingrid and have the experience of cruelty. And Creator would not put me with a demon. Creator put me with this that is parasitic, draining, and it serves a purpose. It does serve a purpose. So that makes sense. Okay, I kind of understand that differently now, because it was on purpose by him, by Creator.
Mhm.
I still don't know what it is. I'm getting the don't ask.
Mm.
Okay, I guess it's part of the creation, or else it wouldn't be used.
Right.
I'm asking where he's gonna go when he dies.
That's what I was wondering. Where's he going to go when he dies? And can he reincarnate, or does he, like, how does that work?
Creator says he's not going anywhere, and he's just gonna dissolve. That it's totally gone. Totally gone. Because there isn't any of its own energy. It takes others' energy. So once it dies, there's nothing left. Okay. I guess he's not haunting me, they're laughing.
Ah,
Okay. He's saying that see, you don't know everything.
right.
Okay, thanks. I get it.
So the best name for him is a ghost?
A shell. He's saying it's a shell. It's a shell. And it's not human and it's not evil. It just steals energy from other people. And it's angry that it's not human, but it can't function without humans. I don't know. I hope there's not a lot of them. He won't tell me. He said I won't find another one. That this is it.
Mhm. So there's no DNA from him, is there? That's in the sun, or is there? But well, I mean, because there's nothing that could be passed on, right? I mean, well, I mean, he had a mom and everything. I mean, her dad had a mom, and she was narcissistic. I think Ingrid told me. So, what can you say about that? Is it because? Wow, I don't know. That could just go way deep. I mean, I don't know. What can you say about that?
The he's saying that the obsession and the attachment to Rex is the energy source for the man, because the shell of the man won't be able to live unless he continues to find his energy source, his next energy source, and he's aging and he's desperate. That's why he's dangerous. But I don't know, it's almost like a mythical, it's something else, not from Earth. The creator's saying that he doesn't know he's not human.
Mm.
He doesn't know that he's not human. Huh.
Hmm.
That's all he's done talking about it.
Oh, okay.
He's saying none of your business. Okay, okay.
Hey. Okay. I'll try to get Creator to talk about it with another session. um, Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, because of the trauma she experienced with her father, she has this PTSD where she tells herself the world is a scary place full of people who will hurt her. And she wonders if everyone she meets is scary. And she tries to fix other people. And then, of course, she can't change them and fix them. So then she says, see, the world is a scary place with people that hurt me. And you did pinpoint, that was my question, the exact thing that triggered the PTSD. And you said that was when the stepmother held her in the garage and she couldn't get away. She couldn't fight and she couldn't flee. So that was the exact pinpoint. And then what kind of healing can we do to go back to that incident and heal that trigger? Anything?
This this is about hubris, because when you go back, she really believed that people were evil and violent and bad. And living this experience is about hubris because it's allowing her to experience life with that real mindset and seeing how that goes. And uh it's not true, and she already knows it's not true. She already knows that most people are good and not violent and not scary. So the iteration of this PTSD is hubris from the past life. And it's pushing her to see that that opinion was invalid and stupid and limited, and that she was wrong, and that there are good people everywhere, and she already has them in her life.
Okay. So what can she do to leave the trauma behind and move forward in her life without trauma?
She did it today. She came and asked for help, and she came and she said she was wrong, and she meant it. She meant it. So this time, that ego and that opinion about humanity, she knows that it's not serving her. She knows that she can't evolve out of this state until she can be fair and objective and assign the same amount of kindness and altruism and optimism and beauty to humanity that she didn't acknowledge before.
Mm.
She's saying that that history teaches memorable events, and that students of history are stuck in this loop because memorable events are generally bad. History doesn't teach small joys.
Mm.
And so history is not everything. She thought it was everything. She was a history teacher. History forgets all of the happiness.
So history is not necessarily a good teacher, right?
History will skew the mind of the student. There has to also be empathy and love. History is not reliable.
She has a fear of men and has convinced herself that men in particular will hurt her. What does she need to do what does she need to do to be healed from that fear of men?
There's been some um, toxic victimization, meaning that if one did it, all of them will do it. And she's made bad choices with men. She's made self-affirming choices, and she knows that. She has kind men in her life. She's just not looking at them when she makes these decisions about the nature of men. She's writing them off. Just like she wrote off the good parts of history and only focused on the bad parts.
Hmm. So isn't she kind of repeating that pattern again on a smaller scale?
She has been. She needs to stop. She knows that. She will stop. There's so much pride here. This has been a complete deconstruction of her pride.
Ah. The pride on a soul level, or where's the pride?
Oh, it's the soul level.
Ah. Got it.
Her son is everything good about humanity. And she should use him to guide her to make broader judgments about humanity. That's why she had a son instead of a daughter.
Hmm. He'll help heal that male wound that she has.
Yes.
What a sweetheart. Okay. Oh, here's the next one. She said as a result of PTSD, she's always in survival mode. And things that keep her there. Is her body in need of any healing from the ongoing stress she's placed on her body by being in fight or flight mode for much of her life and having excessive amounts of cortisol released in her bloodstream? And if yes, are you able to send healing and balancing light and energy into these parts of her body? Adrenal glands, blood vessels, cortisol receptors in her bloodstream, pituitary gland, and her hypothalamus, and also place an energetic regulator, so to speak, on her hypothalamus that regulates the amount of cortisol it instructs her adrenal glands to release into her body, so that it only instructs the body to release the cortisol for true life or death situations and not for every stressful event. Can you do that and tell us what that looks like?
Yes, we could do that.
Okay.
Because the spiral that she created of coming here and then being afraid and then not asking for help has made that a tough cycle, because she's not only afraid, she's lonely. She's been lonely and isolated, and she hasn't had any healing from anybody, none of us. So that could be healed by just coming back to the family in this, her spirit family.
Can you
Which
make those physical changes to her body that I just mentioned and put that emotional regulator on her hypothalamus that communicates with her cortisol and go clean up all the damage physically that's been done in her body?
yes, her body is healthy, but she is not going to experience those feelings because her team is with her now.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
That was a spiritual isolation, but it was always her choice to come ask for help. She just didn't.
Mm. What about, not sure that that would be needed any either. Is there any emotional regulation she could benefit from? Or is she going to be a lot better now that she's got her team working with her?
She'll be a lot better now. She needs to give her own emotions some more love and respect, the way that she respects the emotions of the people around her. She needs to stop writing off her own sadness and fear and stuffing it into her body. And then, but she's already told me that she's going to do that. She said she's going to go and she needs to cry for a long time. I don't know. I think that's therapy, and I think that's over a couple of years.
Okay.
Because she has never let herself do that. She's telling me she's already embarrassed, but she's still going to do it.
Would it benefit her to have you download Creator's definition and perspective of safety into her? And if so, if that would benefit her, could you do that now and tell us what that looks like?
Yes, she had her back turned to Creator for a long time, and now she's already turned around. She already is facing Creator, and she already feels safe because she's not alone anymore. And that was the major trigger, the unsafe feeling.
The turning her back on Creator was the trigger?
The isolation and the unwillingness to admit that she was learning anything or needed this journey. Her stubbornness.
Okay. Does she have any blocks or beliefs in her that would prevent her from being able to accept Creator's definition and perspective of worthiness into her and being able to believe that she's worthy, that you could pull or resolve for her now?
Yes. She needs to understand that in this experience, she does not have to fix anyone else. Because that's how she values herself, is by the ability to teach and mentor and guide. And that's a big block. And when she removes the block, those expectations will go away. And she'll be able to understand that this existence is much more simple. And she'll be able to be happy.
So drop the teacher role.
Yeah, they're saying it's not that deep. Literally. They're like, it's not that deep. You need to calm down. You're a human.
And when you say they, you're talking about her team?
We've been standing in the room with Creator and her spirit team the whole time.
Okay.
There's a lot of chatter and a lot of laughing and a lot of banter and a lot of hugging and a lot of reuniting.
Okay.
And a lot of shit talking.
So would it benefit her? Oh, wait, let me ask you that. Okay, drop the Creator. Okay. So would it benefit her to have you download Creator's definition and perspective of worthiness into her now? And if yes, could you do that for her now and tell us what that download looks like as it takes place?
She doesn't need the download because she's standing in front of him and he's been telling her this whole time. And that they're really making fun of her a lot. but in a cheerful way and in a loving way. And she knows that she's doing her best and that she's worthy and that she has to enjoy the ride from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Creator is blue, by the way, and he's sitting on an invisible chair, and all the spirit team is orange. Creator doesn't have a body. He has a hand, but not a body.
Nice. Thank you for that.
I thought I should tell you what we've been doing.
Yeah.
It's a small room. It's her room. It's the room where she got rolled up in the rug. It's the same room. And when she was rolled up in the rug, she the right corner of the room is where she got pushed down into this spot, into this life. There's a hole there. Everyone's having a great time. Oh my god.
So what about this one? What about downloading Creator? Maybe she doesn't need it because Creator's right there, but could she get Creator's definition of self-love?
Yeah, he's okay. So self-love is being in the moment and doing your best for that moment in that day. And understanding that you are here because you're limited. Because when we're here, we're limited. And all of us have different limitations. But self-love is not blaming yourself for those limitations. And it's not, especially for her, it's not expecting anything out of them, anything beyond them. It's her self-love is to be chill out.
Okay. Well, what about, can you teach her heart, mind, body, and emotions what it feels like to love herself? What that feels like to have self-love flowing through her?
She's been having that feeling this whole time because she's forgiving them and understanding and being back in the light and not isolated. So she's understanding that she's not alone.
Is there anything she can do, like in her daily basis, in her daily life, to increase her self-love that would help her with this? Remember all this?
Yeah, she needs to not take herself so seriously and understand that this is she's just bobbing along a river, and stop trying to control things and stop trying to impose her will on the earth. And that will help her have a lot more happiness day to day.
What can she do to best support her son in his life so he's not thrown off his life path as a result of the actions of his father, her ex-husband? What can she do to help him stay strong and learn to be in his own power, if anything?
Interestingly enough, her teaching about human frailty has helped her son a lot. And even though she came here to stop judging humanity and to stop putting everyone in the same box, her attitude about the nature of failure and the imperfections of human life is really good for her son, because his dad is failing, and she's been able to teach him that it's not his fault because he's human. So oddly, her son shows her as a mother for that wisdom from those past lives.
Have they had other lives together before, or is this their first one?
There was a brother-sister life at least 1,000 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know what that was. I just see them as the same age, and they're holding hands, and they're not in love. They love each other. But no, her son found her. He found her.
Got it. Is her team supportive of her practice of Wiccan, and is this a good path for her life, or is there a different path she may want to pursue that would fit better with her purpose and her path?
No, the team loves this because she's been calling out to them through this practice, and they haven't been able to answer because of the apologies and the between her and the creator. But they're telling me that Wiccan is actually very good for her because it focuses on the beauty in the earth and the small details of the sun coming up and going down every day, and that slowing is very helpful and healing. She should continue that.
Okay. Are there any other messages you want to share with her now before we end this session?
Everybody is just really proud of her here. And it's a happy day. It's happy for everyone. And it feels like a lot is forgiven, and that she doesn't have to worry about the deeper meanings of the things that she's been upset about. And there's just a feeling of like camaraderie and joy and friendship and growth. So it's a happy day, and we want her just to be happy.
Mm-hmm. So how did she get connected to me and find me? I mean, I know it came through social media, but like really, how did she find me? And why did she choose me?
When she had the near-death experience and felt basically what she felt was the reunion. She started to feel the reunion that she had today, and she started to feel the connection. And she had a few moments where she was not alone, and that really drew her to you, because you talk about people are never alone. They always have their higher self with them. And she had that moment where that made perfect sense to her, and she felt it. So as soon as she saw your message. She knew that you were telling the truth, and she knew that you were a healer.
Is her team really glad that she did this session today?
They can't. They're pissed off that it took this long. Yes, they're very glad. They've been waiting and waiting and waiting. They want to all be around. Creator says slow baby steps, but they're all very happy.
So if she takes all of the information from this session and incorporates it into her life, how will her life be different going forward compared to what it would have been like had she not done this session?
Her overall anxiety is going to tank because the pressure of living up to the spiritual being that she was in the past life is dissipated, and she's going to be more present and feel less fear, and she's going to make less judgments about others and mostly about herself and her own failings. And she's going to allow herself to be a human being, which is something she did not want to be this time at all. So this is the end of a long time of struggling against this life and body and experience. And this session has helped her find the ending of that. It's been great.
And one other question popped in my mind, so I'm just going to ask it. Going back to the PTSD medicine, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving any advice. We just want to hear from you. You said you want her off the medicine. So how will she know this? Will it be super obvious and clear to her as she does the healing, or how is that process going to work?
She's going to stop having the panic attacks, and it won't be obvious because the lack of something is never as noticeable as the presence of it. But it will be longer in between them, and it'll be days, and then it'll be weeks, and then it'll be months, and then she'll realize she can't remember the last time she felt panic. And after that, she can start the journey of the cleansing of her mind, from these medications. She has to go slow,
Okay.
but she'll know.
Okay. And is her body going to go through any sort of like withdrawals or anything like that that you could, let me just say, undo now any possible withdrawals that she may go through so that when she gets to that point where it normally would have occurred, it won't be there because you kind of undid it?
I think that, yes, there is a withdrawal, but the way that we are recommending it is so gradual that she should not experience any kind of severe withdrawal symptoms.
Okay.
And that's why she needs to go slow and be careful, but we're not worried about that.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say to her before we end this session, or are we good to end the session?
Just that we're really proud of her. And that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. Hold on. Say that again. You popped up. I wasn't even done pulling you out and you said,
Like 45 minutes because I've been waiting. What the what? What the Tracy? Are you serious?
okay, so now I'm writing the timer down because I have to have my editor take out the F word that you just blew out 3
I'm
times.
sorry.
Because we don't want to get any YouTube strikes.
I've been waiting for like, I don't know how long, but I've been waiting because no, okay.
No one will believe this. Like really.
What?
That was crazy, right? That was crazy. Yours was one of the crazier ones. Crazy in a good way. It was crazy good. That's your affirmation.
They rolled me up in a carpet.
You have a crazy good life.
They attacked me and they pushed me and then they left.
They pushed you down a hole in the right corner of the room. Do you have any fears of right corners in rooms?
No. None of this makes any sense. I have never even. That was so out of the blue, Tracy. I'm
How in the world do you explain this on TikTok? Right? Like how?
Shocked. I'm shocked.
Right?
Basically, I was an who hated people.
A silver.
And they all think it's hilarious.
Right. Because they don't take it seriously like we do.
Oh my. No, they wanted me to take it seriously.
No. That you take life too seriously.
Yes.
This is all just a learning experience.
Yes. They are laughing. They were all laughing at me.
Too seriously.
I got punked.
Yeah. That's a good word. You got punked.
They punk. Oh my God, this is a prank?
This is a whole punk.
Okay. I'm gonna.
With a shell. You got punked with a shell.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Right?
That's weird.
I got to go into more learning about shells.
What the hell is a shell?
Right? So I get to learn all kinds of stuff too. So trust me, I'm going to explore it. I have a woman that I do research with that does sessions with me about every month and a half. And half of the session is for her and half is for my research. And so, because she's a very good channeler. And so, yeah, I'm going to definitely explore about shells. Like, tell me more. And I want to find out from Creator the things Creator wouldn't finish answering. Like, what? Where did they come from? How many of them are out there?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think he did it.
Well, everything is created by, there's nothing outside of Creator. Of course, Creator created shells. But what? Why? What? It's just understanding more of Creator, right?
Or understand, like maybe I made that up. Maybe the terminology is like no empathy, no soul, like no, like it's empty, an empty void of a person. Yeah. I don't know.
A shell of a person, right? So shell is a good word. It's probably the closest human word that would come to mind, and it's fine. So it doesn't mean it's the word, but a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's a soulless being," like it.
Okay.
It's not gonna. I mean, people talk about this all the time.
A metal garbage can like they use in Stomp. Like I pictured that, an empty metal garbage can. Anyway, okay, that is so crazy. I don't even know. I have to go pick up my son from daycare. That was bizarre and awesome.
You just need to learn how to be more human. And you know what's crazy is like my team, I don't think to the level, I don't think I was rolled up in a carpet. I don't think I was. I don't think so. To the point where I had to come and learn how to love humans and learn how to be human. But I have been told, like over the past year, and more so like in the last 6 months, that I really just need to focus on being human and being present and really being in the human experience, because I am in the clouds a lot. I am in my head a lot, and I am like talking to higher selves all day, right? So it's like really easy for me to not be human because I don't interact with a lot of humans other than your intake session, but then I'm interacting with higher self. So yeah, but so it was a good warning to me. Don't forget to be human. Like, so your session was like a really good reminder, warning, like, oh crap, if I forget to be human and start judging humans, oh yeah, no, hell no. I don't want what happened to her to happen to me. Where I get rolled up in a carpet for an attitude adjustment.
Have you ever heard anything like that?
I not exactly like yours. I heard one that was like had a little bit of similarity to yours, but no, not like yours. And so in the beginning, had I had these preconceived notions of, oh yeah, sure, she was like, she had no choice in this life. She was pushed into it. Like, yeah, we always choose our parents, like some people say, right? Then I would have been like, what? You mean, you know what I mean? But I was like, my team told me in my mind, they said, when these things started coming out from your higher self, you need to be real open-minded starting right now.
No okay.
Right. That's what they told me. They said starting right now, you need to be real open-minded in her session. So I just was like, okay, I'm releasing everything. I'm releasing all judgment right here. And I'm just going to listen to what's said and I'm going to go with it and ask the best follow-up questions I can. But that is what my team told me. Right now, you need to be really open-minded.
I've been watching your sessions and that went so south. Like, okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna go take my judgmental my judgmental lonely to go get my
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was
Okay,
crazy.
that
So
is
remember, what are you glad you did it? Tell me this. Are you
Yes!
glad you did it?
That was so bananas. Like, I'm sorry, I couldn't make up. Sorry about the story. I could not make that. What? And I couldn't even imagine that situation.
Yeah.
It's
But
unimaginable.
You can't make that up. No. And so, okay, let me ask you this. One more question before we go. If anybody, if anybody's listening to this and then they listen to your session and they got their mind like you did, right? And I did. But if anybody was on the fence thinking like, should I do this? Should I not do this? What do you have to say to
You
them?
have to do it because this is not information you're going to get on your own. Trust me, I couldn't even write a book. I've never seen this there's no possible representation of what I just described available here. Nothing. So there are things you can't figure out by yourself as a human. Because that whole thing, like, I have bits and pieces of it, Tracy. That's trippy.
Trippy, super trippy what you discovered about yourself.
It makes
Your
a
journey.
lot of sense.
It
I was naughty.
It makes total sense. And it's going to make more sense the more you analyze it and ingest it.
That's so weird.
Right?
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Let me end the recording here. Hold on one second.